So good morning.
Good morning.
We're actually going to begin in sitting this morning. Sorry for all of you that are really comfortable lying down. So take your time to find a comfortable seated pose. Been practicing lots of Bhamari, the hummingbee breath, which is a really powerful tool to clear your sinuses as we move into autumn. And during this period of COVID-19, a really valuable practice to clear your mind and help to keep you centered and grounded. So a reminder with the hummingbee breath that you do as many rounds as comfortable for you, and then you'll lower your hands and take a natural breath in and out. And we might do like 3 sets, but if you find 1 or 2 is enough for you, then stop there. Your lips are closed and your teeth are slightly open. As you breathe in, you'll have your ears open, but then you'll use your thumbs to close your ears and point all your fingers towards your third eye, towards the witness mind. And so just take a moment to make sure you're comfortable in your seated pose. Then taking a breath in as you gently close or soften the eyes. And begin on your exhale. Taking the pressure off the ears as you breathe in. Focusing intently at the point between the eyebrows as you hum like a bee. And gently lowering the hands, come into Chin Mudra as you bring your hands to your lap, keeping the eyes closed or soft. Breathing in, drawing the breath from the core of the earth. Bring it all the way up to your third eye. And as you breathe out, send your breath deeper and deeper into your spines. Let's do one more set. Otherwise, if it's not right for you, stay here in this meditative pose. Breathing in, the hands on your head, thumbs closing the ears as you breathe out. One more breath. See if you can really focus on the vibration through your whole skull. Then as you complete the breath you're doing, you'll lower your hands, Chin Mudra, keeping the eyes closed or soft, and notice the effects of hummingbee breath, Bhamari. And then gently draw your hands into your heart space at Anjali Mudra. Take a moment this morning if you wish to dedicate this practice or to set an intention for your practice. Atha Yoga New Shasanam. It is with great respect and infinite love for ourselves and all beings that we now come to this practice. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And grounding into your sit bones as you take a breath in, take your hands straight up the midline. You might have seen the gorgeous crescent moon the last few nights. So bring your hand down to your left and ground down through your left hand and press it down and away as you reach up through your right side. And then release over to this left. And we're going to flow. So let's let the top hand draw you up this morning. Let your palms touch above your head and then release to your right. So again, press the right hand down and away towards the right to lengthen and ground that left sit bone as you come over. And then flow with your breath. You can move slower or faster than I. And then the next time you come to center from the right, bring your palms together and bring your hands to your heart. And let's flow through the circle of joy. As you inhale, interlace your fingers and draw your elbows wide, lifting high. Exhale, press forward, round your spine. Then find the center of the sit bones as you take your hands skyward. Releasing your hands around you. You hollow out your front, interlacing, and then lengthen from your pivot bone to your breastbone, drawing your knuckles towards long. Stay here or bring your chin to your chest or roll forward and even lift your sit bones off your cushion or your prop and maybe bring the crown of your head to the floor, wherever you need to be. And then when you're ready, you roll up one vertebrae at a time. Release your hands and let them just float back to your heart space. And then change your legs and bring them into a diamond. And let's come again. As you inhale, interlace your fingers, lifting your elbows high. Exhaling, pressing forward. So move with your breath. If you need to move faster or slower than I suggest, honor that, because you guys know this flow. Then you'll release your hands around behind. Remember to round the spine a little as you interlace with your elbows bent, and then lengthen the front of the body as you draw your elbows towards straight. Again, you could stay here, you could soften your chin to your chest, or you could tip your whole spine forward, taking your forehead towards your feet. Find your edge. Maybe draw the knuckles away from you. And then the next time you breathe in, roll yourself back up. And as you exhale, let your hands just float. And bring all your focus back on. Pause for a moment. And then bring your feet to the mat, come off your cushion. You're going to roll through your spine to come into to lying. So if you want to, first of all, just curl yourself into a tight ball and notice how it feels, even holding on with your forearms and drawing your chest away from your thighs. And then when you're ready, you're going to rolling through your spine. And then make your way down into lying with your knees bent and your feet planted. And just check that your heels are lining up with your sit bones. And notice this morning, how does this feel? Notice your imprint from your feet to your pelvis. Notice the lower back and whether the lower back is relaxing easily into the floor. The weight on the back of the ribs, the shoulder blades, your shoulders, and all the way down your arms to your hands. If you're lying on your favorite beach, on the warm sand underneath you, what would your imprint be like? Notice where your head is in space. And take a snapshot of that. as we begin to release the body somatically. And the next time you need to breathe in, begin to arch your back and allow the front of the body to let go, to let the arch happen. And notice how far up your back does the arch go. And then just let your back melt. Like honey, warm honey drizzling off a spoon, let your back melt back to neutral. And do that again, inhaling, letting the back arch. Notice how easily does the front of the body let go to allow that movement. And then let your back release. And then take it into a flatten. So breath in at neutral. And as you breathe out, let your back flatten. And notice how easy is it for you to flatten your back this morning. Do your ribs move? Does your head move? And slowly, by letting go of the front, come back to neutral. And do that again. Breath in at neutral. When you need to breathe out, feel your pelvis roll towards your ribs and your ribs roll towards your pelvis. Your shoulders might come away from the floor. Head might tip back. And then super slow, let go of the front. Like a rope lengthening to come back to neutral. And then put it together. And as you inhale and arch your back, notice, are you tipping towards one side of your pelvis? Even the slightest little bit. And if you are, you're going to take this arch and flatten on a diagonal. If you're really dead center, stay center. Remember, if you're diagonal, you can place your hands on your body if that helps you. And you rock towards that side, pressing the opposite shoulder back. Feel the diagonal contraction of your back, and now let it go, let it melt, let it melt, let it melt to neutral. And now go past neutral and go all the way into that diagonal flatten. So like there's a rubber band on the front of your body drawing those 2 points together. And now just slowly let the rope go on the front without any tension in your back. Switch off about 3/4 of the way and then just let gravity take your shoulder and your pelvis back to neutral. Do that twice more on this first diagonal. So we're doing arch and flatten together today. Last couple of classes we've been just doing arch to release. Yeah. So in your inhaling breath, you'll arch, pressing the opposite shoulder back as you rock onto that diagonal pelvis. Feel your back contract. So notice what's going on. And then let your back go. Like warm honey drizzling off a spoon. And then keep going. Go all the way into the flatten. Let your head move. Notice where it wants to go. And now as you release, could you keep your focus in the front and super slowly release the front of the body and switch off. And to switch off, I need to take my hands off my body. Do that one more time on your own. And then pause with your hands off the body before we come to the other diagonal. And notice what's happening. Notice how that's changed your imprint or not. And then hands on your second diagonal. On your inhaling breath, you rock towards the opposite side of the pelvis, pressing the diagonal shoulder back. When you need to breathe out, think about letting your back go, like warm honey drizzling off a spoon. Come to neutral and then go past neutral like there's a rubber band on the front, drawing the pelvis and the shoulder together on that diagonal. And then very slow. Take at least 2, maybe even 3 breaths to come out of that. And completely switch off. And then off you go again, breathing in, rocking towards the second diagonal. See if you can press the diagonal shoulder back, feel the contraction through the whole back of the body. And let that go. Like butter melting on hot sourdough fruit toast. And then go all the way into the flatten. letting go of the back to contract the front like a rope. Now, could you very slowly let that rope out? Remember to stop about 3/4 of the way out of the movement and then just switch off and let gravity drop your shoulder down to where it needs to be. One more on this side. And when you've completed, take your hands off your body and notice. Notice if that's changed your imprint already. And then take a breath in and gently arch your back. And notice how easily now you can let go of the front to allow the back to arch. And notice as you go to flatten your back, how easily can you let go of the back of the body? How easily can you sink the rib cage down as you tuck your tail? And then come back to center. And completely switch off. And then bring your knees into your chest and hug them in. And notice how your back feels this morning. And let's release the lower back with this somatic way of contracting the muscles, making them tighter than they are, articulating them, and then slowly releasing them. So both hands behind your thighs. And just notice when you do that, when you bring your knees to your chest, are your knees level? And if they're not, you possibly have gone into a little steering wheel move already. So if you look down at your knees or even feel your knees and go, oh, one's closer in, just check that your pelvis is level. And if it's not, remember you hitch up on the side that you've already higher on, and then slowly bring it back to level. Now with your hands behind your thighs, take a breath in, gently arch, press your thighs into your hands and resist. And now let your back melt. Let your back melt like pancake batter in a hot pan. Just let it spread as you let your back go. Your legs can come in. And again, breathing in, gently pressing your thighs into your hands and resist. And then just let your back melt. Let it spread. And your legs will follow. So you're not pulling your legs in, but rather letting the back of the body lengthen. And again, breath in and arch, press your legs away. As you breathe out, let your back go, let it spread. And then hug your knees into your chest and hold them in. Good work. And then bring your feet back down. And let's cross. Actually, no, just bring your feet together. You're going to release the sides of the body and have your feet together. So bring your arms out into a T. And then bend up, let's go together. Bend up your right elbow and take, so if you had your right hand pointing towards the ceiling first of all, so you've just bent your right elbow. And now start to take the back of the hand towards the floor. And notice where you find your comfortable position. So your hand doesn't have to be on the floor, or you might even need to straighten your hand a little so that you can rest the hand on the back of the floor. On your inhaling breath, let your back arch. And then as you breathe out, let your back melt. Keep your back released to neutral and tip your pelvis over to the left and slide your right arm up along the carpet like you're reaching towards the top shelf. And then slowly bring your pelvis back to level, bring your arm back to level and switch off. And let's do that again. So remember, you don't want any discomfort in your lower back, so you might need to do the arch and the flatten between each round. So you'll inhale and arch. As you breathe out, just let your back melt. Keep your back really relaxed and lengthened. And then slide your hand up towards the top shelf. And you tip your pelvis over to the left and your legs follow. Doesn't have to be a big move, remember. This is about releasing lat dorsi, the massive muscle that comes from your lower back and goes all the way up to your right shoulder. Coming back to neutral. And you're ready, and do it one more time on your own. Add the arch and flatten if you need it. And then when you come back to center, bring your arms down low and take a breath in and arch your back, and just notice how this right side feels compared to the left. And then let your back melt. And then let's go to the other side. So have your arm in a T, the left arm out into a T, then you bend your elbow. You can take your fingers pointing to the ceiling first, and then start to take the back of the hand towards the floor and notice how far it goes. And you can stay here, or you could just start to straighten your elbow a little and keep the back of the hand on the floor, feet and knees together. Take the inhaling breath and arch in the first round, then let your back melt. And you tip your pelvis now over towards the right and slide your left arm up like you're reaching towards the top shelf of the pantry. And then slowly let your pelvis sink back to level and bring your arm back down into that cactus position, or into, whatever position is comfortable. You need to be in a relaxed position for your shoulder. So you could even start in a T if you have to. And then again, if you need to arch and flatten, please do. Otherwise, you can tip the pelvis straight away over to the right, sliding the arm up, lengthening your whole side, looking towards your armpit or your elbow. And then release your pelvis back to level. Let your head come back to center. One more time on your own. And then when you come back to center, bring your arms down low, separate your feet to hip width apart, take a breath in and gently arch. And notice now, how does it feel to arch your back? And then also go all the way into your flatten this time. So releasing the back, and then keep going, and slowly come back to center and switch off. And then take one hand behind your head. We're going to do a diagonal arch and curl to release your back on the diagonal even more. So take the diagonal foot off the floor. Take a breath in and really work on your arch here. So press your elbow back, press your shoulder back, let your thigh move away. You could even add the resistance behind your leg, as long as that doesn't cause any discomfort anywhere in your back. And then slowly let your back go. Bring your leg in first, stop your leg with your hand, and then tuck your elbow and sit on up. Hold. Don't let anything move for a moment. Feel the contraction across the front, and then super, super slow. Start to release on the diagonal. And when your head touches down, bring your arm down. I'm going to slide, so if you need to adjust yourself on your mat so that you can slide on the carpet or the floor, please do. And completely switch off. Let your leg relax. Then draw your hip, knee and toes to face the ceiling. Take your hand behind your head, but lift your elbow a bit higher. So you're going to do a back lift on your back with your hand behind your head. So as you breathe in, press down through your long leg, press your shoulder blade down, your elbow towards the floor, notice the word toward, and notice the back of your head might press into your hand as well. And then let that go, let it melt, slide your leg up, bring your leg all the way in first, stop it with your hand, then tuck your elbow and sit on up. And now don't let your leg move. Remember, it's the anchor point of the rope. It's the anchor point on your belay system, and you're slowly lowering something very precious back down to the floor. Bring your head down, bring your arm down, then touch your foot and slowly slide. Remember, you're touching your foot really close to your pelvis. Keep your back relaxed and let everything switch off. So let your leg flop to the side. And then hip, knee and toes face the ceiling. Hand is behind your head. But keep your elbow quite high to the ceiling to begin with. And then as you press down with your long leg, you press your shoulder blade down. Feel like you're gliding that shoulder blade across your back. Elbow moves a little bit towards the floor, but it's not the focus. Focus on your shoulder blade. Feel your back contract, and now let your back melt. Slide your leg in first, just tucking your elbow into your head. Head on the ground. Bring your leg all the way in, then sit on up, going into your diagonal. Hold there. And then super slow, keep your leg anchored. Slowly release. Feel like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Slowly releasing your body down. Arm comes out. Foot touches and slide. And then straighten your second leg for a moment. Have a moment of melt. And notice how this first diagonal feels compared to the second. And know that you're about to be balanced. And then take the opposite hand behind your head. Let's start with the knee bent. So lift the foot off the floor and bring the knee into your chest. And take your hand behind your thigh. So on your inhaling breath, gently arch your back. Don't let your leg move too far. Resist it with your hand. Feel like you're pressing your shoulder blade across your back, trying to reach the opposite pelvis. Elbow might press down. Back lift in a different position. Then let your back go, tuck your elbow in and bring your leg in, stop it. And then you sit up. Remember, this is about rotation. So you're never trying to touch your elbow and your leg, but rather rotate. Keep the anchor point really still. Feel like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Lengthening through your spine. When your head touches down, release your arm, release your foot, and slide. Keeping your back as released as you can. Let your leg completely switch off. So let it roll out to the side. And then draw your toes up to the ceiling, hip, knee, and toes face the ceiling. Diagonal hand is behind your head, but tuck your elbow in closer to your head. And now as you breathe in and really press firmly down with your long leg, see if you can feel like your shoulder blade is trying to glide across to that leg, like there's a rope on your back that's been shortened. Your elbow presses out a little to the side, but it's not the focus. And then let your back go. Let your back melt, slide your leg in first, head stays on the floor. Stop your leg with your hand, then come on up. And take your time, super, super slow. Lengthening. Feeling like you're lifting your head off your shoulders, slowly releasing. Feel the space between each rib as you bring your head back down, release your arm. Now touch your foot. And slowly slide, keeping your back really relaxed. And remember, you don't need to straighten your knee if that just means your back arches. You want to keep your back relaxed. Hip, knee, and toes face the ceiling. Hand behind the head, elbow tucked into the side of your head. Press down firmly with your straight leg. Feel like your shoulder blade is gliding across your back. Notice that your head might want to press back into your hand as well. Let your back go, slide your leg in. Stop it, come on up. And then take your time, slowly releasing. Remember your other leg is bent where you do this. Then you touch, once your head is down and your hand releases, you touch your foot and you slide that leg. Completely switch off. And straighten your first leg and just have a moment to sense. And you might like to bend up your knees now and take yourself back to your beach. And just notice, how does your back feel? What is your imprint like on the floor? And then bring your knees into your chest and hug your knees in and notice how your back feels. And your choice, you can roll through your spine or you can just roll over onto your side. You're coming onto your hands and knees. So whatever way you'd like to make your way there. And Denise, you might need to mute yourself. I can't do it from here now, I'm on the floor. You're not muted, my friend. And then come onto your hands and knees. And hopefully you're warm enough. It's quite cool this morning. We're going to flow here on our hands and knees this morning. So take a breath in first of all and come into a cat, or a cow rather. So as you breathe in, you draw your hands back towards your knees. Feel your breastbone move forward, head lifts. And then as you exhale, start to round your spine. Pressing down through your hands to really hollow out the front of the body. And do that 2 more times. Just flow with your breath. And notice where the movement is happening easily this morning. Notice if there's any areas of the spine that need a little bit more encouragement to move easily. And then come back to your flat back. And as you pause in your flat back, just bring your knees a little closer together. You're going to take your left leg back and long and touch your toes to the floor and press back through that heel and almost rebound, and then bring the knee into your chest. And could you cross that leg all the way over your right and then press your buttocks back towards your heels. And we're going to flow. So come on up to your hands and knees, press down through your hands to give you a bit more space, so you'll find that you're almost in a cat to get space to get your leg out. Then touch your toes, press back through your heel and rebound. Let it bring you forward, cross your leg and then settle back. And flow. So come forward, round your back a little, touch your toes, press back, and then you rebound from that. Bring your knee into your chest. Press down through your hands like you're trying to press the floor away. It gives you a bit more space. And then cross your leg and settle your buttocks back. If you want to stay here now in this Gomukhasana, do. If you'd prefer to keep flowing, then you come back onto your hands and knees, round your back to get your leg out, touch your toes, press back, rebound forward, cross your leg and settle back. Holding or flowing, whatever is right for you. And then let's all come out of it. So the next time you go to breathing in, rounding your spine, pressing down through your hands. So it's almost like you're in that cat pose rather, and then you press your heel back and hold here. And then lower that knee and bring your feet apart and settle your buttocks back into child pose, and just notice how that left side feels compared to the right. And let your forehead come to the floor. Remember, you can make a fist stack if your forehead doesn't reach the floor. And allow yourself to just soften. Give your weight. Come home to child pose. Breathing in from the earth. Drawing your breath to your center. And then as you exhale, send your breath deeply back into the earth. And then when you're ready, you're going to come back up onto your hands and knees, and let's come to the other side. So taking your right leg back, and you tuck your toes, pressing your heel back, and then you rebound. Bring your weight forward onto your hands, round through your spine by pressing, like you're trying to press the floor away. Then you cross the leg, the right leg over the left, and settle back. Now you could hold here straight away if you prefer. Otherwise, flow and really practice pressing down through your hands. You're in a cow or a cat even. Pressing back through your heel. Rebounding, rounding your spine as you press your hands down and forward. And then cross your leg and sink back. Flow with your breath. As you press out through your heel, let your crown move forward. And then as you bring your leg forward, you curl yourself into a tight ball, pressing your hands down as you come into cat. And then slowly release back into this cross-legged Kumbhakasana. I must need to go visit some cows. Flow with your breath. If you prefer to hold, hold. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly come out of it and make your way back into child pose, sinking your buttocks towards your heels, resting your forehead towards the floor, making a fist stack if you need it. Or if your forehead touches the floor easily, bring your hands down beside your feet and give yourself into the floor. Let the front of the body receive the weight of the back of the body. Feel the tops of the feet, the tops of the shins, or the shins and the knees yielding into the floor. Feel the back of the body soften from your crown all the way to your tailbone. Take 3 more breaths in, child. Such a grounding pose. Reminding you to come back home time and time again. And then slowly begin to peel yourself off the floor. You can choose how you come into standing this morning. You could come through downward facing dog and then walk your hands back towards your feet, or you could just roll into that easy squat. And hang for a moment in your first Uttanasana. So have your knees bent, have your belly resting on your thighs, release your crown. And then stay here for another 2 breaths. Really enjoy your forward bend. Let there be no tension in your neck at all. Let the base of your skull go. You might even like to massage the base of your skull. And let go of any tension. And then take your time and bend your knees, tucking your tail and slowly rolling up 1 vertebra at a time. Come all the way up into standing. Draw your arms around you. Let your palms touch and bring your hands to your heart. And then come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Hands at the heart space. Surya Namaskar, salute to the rising and the setting of the sun, within and without. As you breathe in, take your hands skyward. Gentle back bend if it arises. You can roll down or swan dive, soft knees. Find your flat back. Then take a breath in and stretch that right leg back, lower the right knee. Tuck your tail under, press your back knee forward as you take your hands off the floor. And then release your hands back down. Step back to plank. So first plank, you can be a full plank or a knee down plank. And then release yourself to the floor. You're going to come into Sphinx, drawing back on your elbows. And as you draw back on your elbows, feel the front of the body lengthen. Tops of feet are pressing into the floor. Glutes are active. And then draw back on your elbows and drag yourself forward as you lay yourself down. Take your hands and plant your palms. Come up into locust, lifting your long legs, your trunk. Press the palms down. Press the little finger side of your hands down. Even lift your thumbs off the floor. Feel your shoulder blades gliding towards one another. Chin is soft, neck is long. And then release yourself as one to the floor. Inhale to your hands and knees or plank. Glide back into downward facing dog. So find the length in your spine so you can bend your knees a lot. Let's rise up onto the balls of the feet with the knees bent. And either press one foot at a time towards the floor or lengthen both heels. And again, rise to the balls of the feet. Even to the tiptoes,
Let your knees be bent and release. One heel or both. And then you're taking your right leg forward, so you can go up along with your right leg and then step it forward, or lower your knees and step your right foot forward. Tuck your tail and then take your hands off the floor. Releasing your hands out to the side. You're going to retract, come forward and release into your Uttanasana, release your crown. And slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Hands come around the body. Exhale your hands to your heart space. Inhale, take your hands skyward. Swan dive or roll down. Release into Uttanasana, then find your flat back. You're going to step your left foot back, high lunge, or you can always lower the back knee. And then bend your back knee for a moment and tuck your tail under as you bring yourself up. So just really make sure here with your back leg that if you bend your back knee, you can tuck your pelvis. That way you'll open through your hips more and take your hands up. From here, revolving. So your choice. Bring your hands to Namaste. Press out through your back heel and turn yourself, bringing your elbows to the outside. Or if that's too strong, bring your fingertips to the floor, open through your chest and take your hands skyward. So you're revolving towards, that would be your right leg. And then lower both hands to the floor. Step back to plank and release as one to the floor. This time you're going to come into a wide armed cobra. So come up onto your fingertips even, forehead on the floor. Take a breath in, draw back on your fingertips. Strong glutes, so glutes are active, legs are pressing down into the floor, tops of feet. Only come up as high as the back can let you. And then slowly take yourself back down. And let's do that again. Draw back on your fingertips, feel your crown move forward. Legs active. Only come up as high as your back can. So you notice when you're on your fingertips, you can't use your arms to push off the floor. And slowly release. Then bring your hands under your chest, tuck your toes. Inhale to your hands and knees or plank. Downward facing dog or child, your choice. Listen to what you need. Let's play with a side bend here. So bend your knees again and come to the balls of your feet and take your hips and heels to one side. Come back to center and go the other way. And of course, if you're in child, you'll take your hands to one side. Come back to center. So meeting in the center, whether you're in child or you're in downward dog. And this time you're going to take your left leg up if you like, or step the left leg forward. Stay in your high lunge. Bend your knee, your back knee, and come on up and really tuck your tail. So you can bring your hands to your pelvis there. So just so you can see what I'm doing from the side on. So sometimes when our leg is straight, the back can be arched. So you want to bend your back knee, tuck your tail under a little. So you're really opening through your hips and then take your hands skyward. Stay here. Soften your shoulders. Then bring your hands to your heart. Revolving towards your front leg, towards your right leg. So you can come into Namaste, let your chest do the work. You might press out through your back heel a bit more now, or bring the fingertips to the floor and take the hands skyward. Chin is soft, neck is long. Remember, you don't need to look as far as your chest is twisting. And then bring both hands to frame your front foot. Retract, come forward, release into your Uttanasana. Let there be no tension in your neck. Maybe the backs of the hands on the floor, or just draping your body. And then slowly roll up. Tuck your tail. One vertebra at a time. Coming all the way up into standing. Draw your hands around you. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's take an expanded heart breath, breathing in. Feel like you're pressing the wall behind you away. And as you exhale, gather all your focus and bring it home. Inhaling, taking the hands skyward. Exhale, swan dive or roll down. If it's better for you to roll down, roll down. Release into Uttanasana. Then find your flat back by bending your knees and drawing your chest away from your belly, from your thighs. And step that right leg back and plant the back heel. Heel down, Sky Warrior. And then draw your hands around your body and bring your hands to your heart for a moment. So really feel like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat without moving them. And then scissor your legs together. So to scissor your legs together, you're going to lift the back heel, straighten your front leg, and then feel like you're drawing your legs apart again by bending your front knee, pressing out through your back heel. And do that again. So press your palms together, draw your legs together, bring all your focus back into your center, and then feel like you're drawing your feet apart again. Let your front knee bend and track over your middle two toes. One more time. Really activating through your legs. Draw your feet together, like you're scissoring your legs back in together. And then press out through your back heel as you draw your feet apart. Stay here. Feel now like your legs are really connected into your hip sockets. And then take your arms wide. This is Sky Warrior. Grounded and strong, and yet soft and open through your upper body, through your heart space. So soft chest, open back. So you might need to take your arms really wide. Come into Chin Mudra. And if you're going to come into a back bend, it would start from your mid back. So you notice how with your tail tucked, your belly is vertical. And then you come into your back bend. And maybe you look skyward. And you'll gently release your hands to your heart space. You're going to come forward over your front leg. So start to balance, Virabhadrasana 3. Back heel, knee and toes, or toes, knee and hip face the floor. Heel lifts to the ceiling. Stay here. If you'd like a challenge today, the challenge is, could you then bend your standing leg, keeping your knee tracking over your middle two toes? And you might do that 3 or 4 times. You could even do that with your back foot on the floor if you like. And then could you lift the back foot again and come back into Virabhadrasana 3? You can stay here, or you could bring your arms out into a T. Really press out through your back heel. Crown lifting away from the heel. And then gently bring your back foot to the floor. Let your front knee bend, come back into Virabhadrasana 1. Hands can come together this time into Hakini Mudra above your head. Holding and breathing. Really feel again like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat, but at the same time like you're drawing them together. So active through your legs. Check your tail is tucked. And the next time you breathe out, release your fingertips, lift your back heel. You're in a high lunge. And let's step back to plank. Now, if anyone wants a challenge, I'll go side on again so you can see better. If you want a challenge and want to come to three-legged plank, just like we started on our hands and knees, press the floor away, round through your spine, tuck your heel into your buttocks, press back into a three-legged plank even, and release. Then inhale into cobra, hands this time just underneath the chest. Try not to use the arms, rather let the back lift you, and slowly release yourself down. Let's all inhale to our hands and knees. Take your knees wide, feet together, and press back into a wide-legged child. Releasing your forehead to the floor. Come back to center. So stay where you are, but breathe into your center. So stay in your wide-legged child, but as you breathe in, draw your breath back to your center, like you're breathing in through your hands and your feet. And as you breathe out, give your breath back into the earth. And you could stay in child, or you could make your way to downward facing dog, your choice. Honor where you want to be. If you're coming into downward facing dog, really press your hands down and forward. Feel that length in your spine. Feel like you're drawing your armpits and your groin towards one another. Holding and breathing from the earth. Breathing in through your hands and feet wherever you are. Bring your breath to your center and let it spread through the whole of your body. And as you exhale, send your breath back into the earth. And then let's all walk the hands back to the feet. So if you're in child, you're going to make your way up into an Uttanasana at the back of the mat. And if you're in downward dog, you walk your hands back to your feet. And again, you're at Uttanasana at the back of the mat. Let there be no tension in the neck. And then super slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Draw your arms around you. Bring your hands to your heart space. Press your palms into one another. So you're going to step your left foot 1 foot forward, just a little bit forward. So then you could step your right foot forward, preparing for Sky Warrior on this second side. And let's keep the hands at the heart. So remember, you start with your feet far enough apart that both hips face forward. And then draw your feet together like you're trying to kick that back leg forward. And you could even rise up onto the ball of the back foot. Feel your legs get really active. And then as you breathe out, let your front knee bend as you press out through your back heel. So breathing in, feel like you're drawing your legs together, straightening the front leg. And then press out through your back heel and let your front knee bend. Do it one more time. And you don't even need to add your breath. Just let your breath flow. Feel your legs really active, back glutes switched on, front knee is tracking over your middle two toes, and then take your hands up. Heel down, Sky Warrior. So grounded and strong. Feel like you're breathing in from the earth and you're drawing your breath up to your center, and then let it spread back down through both legs like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat now, and send your breath back into the earth. And then bring your breath up through your active legs to your heart space. And then feel like you spread your breath all the way out to your fingertips. And to find that openness through your chest, you might need to go quite wide with your hands. This is Sky Warrior. And if you're going into a back bend, remember, keep your tailbone tucked. And then you come into this back bend, which is so it's more into your mid-back. And you look skyward or you look ahead. Then from here, bring your hands to your heart space. You're going to balance over your front leg. So back, hip, knee and toes face the ceiling. Press out through your back heel and feel your crown move away. You can stay here. If you want to come into this little challenge where you bend your standing leg, better make sure I've got room. Then you can bend your standing leg and come back up, and make sure the whole time that your knee stays tracking over your middle two toes. Remember, you can put your back toes down if you need, and do it like so. One more. Then we're going to come back into Virabhadrasana 3. So back, hip, knee and toes face the ceiling, or face the floor rather. Fingertips out to the side, or stay with your hands at your heart. Really feel like you're reaching your crown away from your heel. And then if you can come back into Virabhadrasana 1, heel down, Sky Warrior. Taking the hands skyward. Looking ahead, or maybe looking to the sky. Feel like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat. At the same time, it's like you're plugging your leg bones into hip sockets, like power cords. And then we'll release. Lift the back heel, retract, come forward, all done, release into Uttanasana. Let there be no tension in your neck. You might even like to hold on to your elbows this time and hang. And then super slowly start to roll up. Drawing your hands around your body. And bringing your hands to your heart space.
And let's come into the circle of joy. As you inhale, interlace your fingers and lift those elbows high. Press forward, rounding through spine. Then rise onto the balls of your feet, squeezing your heels in. Taking your hands skyward. Release your hands around you. Interlace behind. Hollow out the front. Then lengthen pivot bone to breastbone. Knees are soft, drawing your elbows towards straight. Stay here or release your belly onto your thighs. And take your hands over your head. Let there be no tension in your neck. So you might even need to bend your elbows so you can let go of that tension in your upper body through your shoulders. And then bend your elbows, hands on your tailbone, rolling on up. Come back to standing. Release your arms. Let's come into Garudasana arms. So let your right elbow cross your left. Lifting the elbows high, curling into a tight ball. And we might mix it up a little today. So take your left leg and bring your heel to the outside of your thigh. So your choice, if you go, yeah, no way, just stay here with the arms and work with the arms. Or you might come into this threading the needle version and curl yourself into a tight ball. Draw the left toes up towards the shin. The other option would be to release the toes to the floor with the leg crossed and come into the curl. And then release that left foot back to the floor and slowly come back up. Take a double breath this time as you open your arms wide. And as you exhale, come to the other side. Left elbow crosses right. Flowing, lifting the elbows first. Exhaling, curling into a tight ball. Now you could just stay with your feet planted and flow here, lifting your elbows and curling. Or if you'd like to stay in your curl and shift your weight across to your left foot, you can either bring the right toes across and touch them to the floor, stay here. Or if you want to balance onto your left leg, you bring your right leg into threading the needle, drawing the toes up on the right. And then maybe you come back down. Breathing into your resistance, challenge for the balance. Finding needing to do more and more balance poses at the moment to stay balanced. Then to come out of it, you'll bring the right foot back to the floor, slowly come back up, take a double breath, tense your body, and then let it go. And let your hands just float to your heart space. Nice. Then if you're not at the top of your mat, come to the top of your mat. Take a breath in as you take your hands skyward. Swan dive, or remember you can always roll down. Listen to what you need. Then find your flat back. This time you're going to take your right leg back. You're in a high lunge, and let's come into temple mudra with the fingers interlaced and take the hands straight up. So remember the back, tuck that tailbone. You might need to bend your back knee to come up. And once you're there, really strong with the back glute, and then maybe you press out through your back heel. So your back knee doesn't need to be straight. And then release. Frame your front foot. Now, if you'd like to come back into this three-legged plank, I'm pretty sure we're on the other side. So remember, you need to, oh no, we might be on the same side, are we? No, well, we'll have to do two. If you did this one with me, press down through your hands, you lift your foot and take your heel in towards your buttocks, and then you go back into a three-legged plank and release to the floor. Inhale into Sphinx or Cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale to your hands and knees.
glide back into down dog. So yeah, to balance out those three-legged planks, if you've done them, let's come to the other side. If you haven't, you get to enjoy down dog or even child. So notice where you'd like to be. If you're coming to three-legged plank on the other side, then lift the opposite, so that's your left leg, and slowly release down. Inhale into Sphinx or Cobra. Release to the floor. Come to your hands and knees or plank and back into down dog. One more if you need it. Otherwise, stay where you are in down dog. And if you're in child, can you let go of that tension in your neck? Can you rest your forehead to the floor, maybe even make a fist stack, or bring your forehead to the back of your hand? If you're in down dog, let your breath spread through the whole of your body, just like in child. And then when you're ready, if you're in downward facing dog, you're going to take your right leg forward, stepping it between your hands. If you're in child, remember you can roll up, step your right foot forward. Have the back knee bent so you can tuck your tail, and then simple mudra, bringing your hands off the floor. Hold here, really feel your back glute switched on. So your back knee can be bent, activating through your glute as you press out through your back heel. Maybe you can open through your chest a little more, taking your hands higher. And then release. Retract, come forward and release into Uttanasana. And then slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Drawing your arms around you. Exhaling, bringing your hands to your heart. And then from here, pressing your palms into one another, step your left leg back and bring your back heel to the mat to find your heel to instep alignment. So Virabhadrasana to Earth Warrior. And so in your Earth Warrior pose, remember you want to press your front heel down and forward and feel like that brings the weight into your back foot. Keep your palms at your heart space and notice, can you open your chest to the front of your mat or the long edge of your mat without rolling your front knee in? So if not, you need to let your back hip come forward even more and then press your palms into one another again. Feel like you're drawing your feet apart and then release your arms up to shoulder height. You look to your future and you acknowledge every bit of your past. Soften your eyes, soften your skin. Notice that your front knee is safe. It's tracking over your middle two toes. And maybe you can even let it bend a little more. See if you can let yours bend a little bit more, Anne. Let your knee bend and track over your toes. Nice work. Remember, you don't want it to go beyond your ankle, so you might need to caterpillar your front foot forward so that your knee stacks directly over your ankle. And then turn your front palm skyward. Let's honor the crescent moon of the last couple of nights. And as you bring your back hand to your thigh, let your thigh press into your back hand. Even bend your elbow and press them firmly into one another. Top hand goes to the ceiling, or you can bend your elbow and even cup the back of your head. Check that your front knee is still tracking over your middle two toes. With your back elbow bent, sometimes you'll find it's even easier to activate your back leg because you can press your hand into your leg a little more and your leg into your hand. And then very gently start to straighten your front leg as you release your front hand. Parallel your feet to the long edge of your mat. And let's come into Goddess. So bring your heels in and bring them in as far as you need to have your knees tracking over your middle two toes. And then settle on down. Have your hands, if you can, you have the base of your thumbs on the insides of your thighs. And you're going to press your legs back to keep those knees over your middle two toes.
Let your shoulders actually come up to your ears. Enjoy that. And then press down through your hands and let your shoulders move away. And then you turn to whichever side you wish to first. So if you're turning, say, to your left, then let your right shoulder come forward and make sure you keep pressing the right hand back to keep the knee over the middle two toes. And notice you want to bend your elbow or keep it straight. Come back to center and then go the other way. So you can bend the elbow that you're looking towards or keep it straight, and it'll change where you feel the opening in your back and your ribs. So notice what you need. And then come back to center, and with your legs as they are, slowly roll up. And then bring the right toes in, turn the left toes out for Virabhadrasana 2 on the other side. You know, let your front knee bend, let it track over your middle two toes. You might like to bring your hands back to your center again and really find the midline. So pressing your palms firmly into one another, and then feel like you're drawing your feet apart on the mat. Check that that knee stays tracking over the middle two toes. If it doesn't, it means your back foot needs to lift up and press back to let the hip come forward a little more. Then bring your arms to shoulder height. Look to your future. Acknowledge your past. You might even need to go deeper. So as you get more open through your hips, you might find that you can go a little deeper. You want your knee to sit above your ankle. Press the front heel down and forward. Soften your eyes, soften your gaze. Keep your head directly above your pelvis. And then turn the front palm to face the ceiling. I'm going to get you to bend your back elbow and bring your hand much higher to your back leg. And now, as you windmill your arm up, as you come into Virabhadrasana, honoring the moon, really press your thigh into your hand and your hand into your thigh. No pressure in your lower back, though. And hopefully you're feeling that the outer blade of your back foot is pressing into the floor a little more. To deepen the pose, you let your front knee come back into that bend. You can keep your arm extended, or you bend the elbow and hold the back of your head, almost creating traction like you're lifting your head off your shoulders again. Virabhadrasana. And then to come out of it, let your front leg straighten, let your arms come down, parallel your feet. If you know you're really strong through your legs and you can come forward with your legs parallel, do that. Otherwise, bring your heels in and come down with your heels in, straight back, releasing your fingertips to the floor. Once you're there, you might parallel your feet and release yourself into your forward bend. Or if you want to be more active and you'd like to practice, you know, building up towards arm balancing and more handstands, maybe, then what you do is you have your hands forward of your shoulders on the floor. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Bring the weight forward onto your hands. Gently press down with your fingertips, like you're clawing your hands so there's less pressure on your wrists. And then you can bend your elbows like a little push-up and come back up. Just an option, yeah? Otherwise, enjoy your forward bend. You can even hold your feet, staying really active with your legs, releasing through your crown. And then if you've been playing with rocking forward onto your hands, slowly release your heels back. We're all going to pivot from heel to toe to bring the feet all the way back in to the center. And then release into your easy squat into Samatasana. Squeezing your thighs together. Can you balance here? Maybe bringing your hands to your heart. Maybe even looking ahead. Or if not, look diagonally to the floor. And then you're releasing. You can take your fingertips to the floor, or maybe you can lean back and release your knees, release your feet. And if it's comfortable for your knees to sit into Vajrasana for a moment, pause in Vajrasana. Tips of fingers together, close your eyes. Noticing the effects of our practice. Reminding us time and time again that no matter what goes on the mat or off the mat, that we can come back to our center time and time again so that we can flow with whatever is happening. And gently shift your weight to one side, bringing your buttocks to one side. You're going to come back onto your back, and if you'd like to roll through your spine, please do. Rolling through your spine. You might like to hold on with your forearms. So you're really rolling through your lower back. And then come back to the floor. Bring your feet to the floor, bring your arms down. And notice your imprint. How now, brown cow? And let's come into Setu Bandhasana, the bridge pose. So you can choose this morning whether you make this a flowing, more gentle version or whether you hold. So as you inhale, you'll arch your back. Feel your back contract. As you breathe out, let your back go. Let your back melt. Tuck your tail. Start to lift your pelvis up, rolling up into the bridge. You can keep your arms in a soft V or a T and just come to the weight on the back of the shoulders and then slowly roll down. For those who want to hold, you can stay at the top of your bridge. Start to let your tailbone lengthen towards the back of your knees. Roll your weight to one shoulder, then to the other. So you can interlace your hands underneath. And then you press the outer aspect of your arms and your little fingers into the floor. Let your thumbs even come apart. Keep letting your tailbone release towards the back of your knees. Keep pressing the back of your head down, because you'll notice if you don't, you tend to soften your chin to your chest, which flattens your cervical curve. So rather, look to the ceiling without straining your neck. You're just looking up and you press the back of the head down. Now you can hold, and if you prefer to flow, please keep flowing. And of course, those who prefer to flow, and sometimes it's much better for your spine to flow. If it's better for your spine to flow, when you get to the top of the bridge, feel free to take your hands up above your head. And then super slow, roll down one vertebrae at a time. Those who've been holding, when you're ready to come out, you release your arms, and then everyone make your way back to the floor, whether you're flowing or you're holding. And let's release the lower back with an arch and curl. So take your hands behind your head, take a breath in and gently arch your back, pressing your elbows and shoulder blades towards the floor. As you breathe out, let your back go, let your back go. Tuck your elbows in and sit on up. Elbows pointing to the knees slowly. Keeping those elbows pointing to the knees, slowly release the rope on the front. And imagine that you're lifting your head off your shoulders as you slowly release down. Try and keep your back really released. Let's do that again on your inhaling breath. Gently arch. Feel the shoulder blades pressing down. It's like you're trying to do a diagonal arch simultaneously, both shoulders moving across to the opposite pelvis. And then let your back go, let your back spread like a rope. Bring your elbows in, sitting on up, sinking the ribs down as the back lets go. And now take your time, slowly, like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Releasing your arms down beside you this time. Notice if you need a pillow under your head or a blanket, please grab it, and then draw your knees into your chest. Hugging your knees in across your feet and open your knees wide. and rock your knees in towards your armpits. And then bring your knees together and take your feet a little higher. And now you're using your lower abdominals to draw your knees into your chest. You want your neck and shoulders really relaxed. And then hug your knees back into your chest. And keep your right leg hugged in and bring your left foot to the floor. So you're going to take the sole of your right foot and place it on the floor as close to your groin as you can, like right in the middle of your pelvis. And then start to release your right leg out to the side. So the right knee is sinking down towards the floor. So actually if you come back up, this might be an easy way to describe it, is take your leg out into that, like you're going to do threading the needle. So you roll your hip out and your heel will be lined up with your pubic bone about. And now just place the heel on the floor and start to release the leg towards the floor. Now, if you're already at your edge, you could stay here. Or to go deeper, you're going to pick up your left leg and hug it in towards your chest. And send your breath into this resistance in this right leg. Chin is soft, neck is long. Imagine that you're trying to press your outer ankle bone on the foot on the floor, the right foot. Press it into the floor like you're trying to kick your leg away. Back is released. Send your breath into your resistance. And then slowly release the left foot back down. Pick up the right leg so it's still in that same position and bring it across so the outer aspect of the foot is on the left thigh. So threading the needle. If you're at your edge, stay here. If you need to go deeper, you'll lift your foot off the floor. If you feel that your head is poking up to the ceiling and you'd like to come up and release the front, take a breath in, breath out, tuck your elbows in, curl on up. Slow motion, like you're lifting your head off your shoulders, slowly release yourself down. And remember, if your head is still poking up to the ceiling, you need to grab something and place it underneath your head. Could even be that you just need that little eye pillow, or if you have a blanket, place your blanket underneath your head. And then you can wrap your right arm around the outside of the thigh, or you can take your hand through the hole. Send your breath into the resistance. And the next time you need to breathe out, release the left foot. You're going to cross your right leg all the way over your left. Pick up your pelvis and shift your hips over to the right. And coming into a cross-legged twist. Arms come into a T. And then gently release your pelvis and your legs over to the left. You look to the ceiling, or maybe you turn and look towards your right armpit. You can keep your legs together, or you can separate your thighs as you come into the twist, or even straighten your top leg. Send your breath into your resistance. See if you can imagine with every breath in that you're creating space between your pelvis and your armpit. And then how about you uncross your legs and roll all the way over onto your left, bringing your right arm with you. So just uncross your legs and roll to your left.
let's come into propeller. If you prefer arm slide this morning, then just come into your arm slide. So you'll just slide your arm across your body, letting your ribs do all the work, and your arm just gets dragged along and it's like you're putting moisturizer on your skin. If you'd like to come into propeller, make sure your bottom knee is bent right up. Turn your chest towards the floor. Take your back leg long as you turn your chest. And then let the motor be in the center. Let the ribs roll open to drag your arm across your body, taking your leg forward. And then you turn your chest. Keep turning your chest. Remember, you don't want to arch your back, rather than find the length in your side body. And then roll your rib cage open to draw your arm over your body as you bring your leg forward. You can keep your knees bent or straight. And then when you're ready, you're going to roll onto your back and pause on your back. You might even like to straighten your legs for a moment and notice what the right side feels like compared to the left, and know that you're about to be balanced. And then straightening, or rather bending up your legs. You can frog leg them if you like. So draw your left knee in towards your chest and hug it in. And then roll the hip open so the knee comes out to the side and the heel sort of lines up with your pubic bone. And then release your foot back down onto the floor with the heel in the midline. And start to release that left leg out to the side. And then hug the right knee in towards your chest. So it's like a threading the needle, but in a more of a hip opener position. So we're releasing through the hip flexors and the quads as well. And so you feel like you're trying to press the outer ankle bone of your left foot, the one that's on the floor, into the floor, like you're trying to kick your leg straight, but the floor is resisting. And you're keeping the right knee in towards your chest so your lower back is really released. Send your breath into that resistance. And then release the right foot back down onto the floor. Pick up the left leg again. It's already in this threading the needle position. And you just place the outside of that left foot on the outside of the right thigh. You can lift the right foot up straight away. But if you're at your edge with the foot on the floor, remember that's where you need to stay. If you feel like you need to release the front of the body, then you'll inhale and arch with your hands interlaced behind your head. Curl yourself up as you let go of your back. And then super slow, like you're lifting your head off your shoulders. Release yourself back down. You might need to find that blanket and just bring it underneath the base of your skull if that's better. And then you can either wrap the left arm around the outside or take it through the hole. Chin is soft, neck is long, which doesn't mean you bring your chin towards your chest, but rather you want to maintain that natural curve in your neck. So often that means you're looking slightly to the ceiling. Soften your eyes or close your eyes. And we soften our eyes. It helps to calm the nervous system. So coming into your drishti gaze and sending your breath into that resistance. And then you gently release the right foot to the floor. Cross the left leg all the way over the right. Pick up your hips and shift them over to the left. Cross-legged twist. You can keep the foot grounded or lift it off the floor. Taking your pelvis over to the right. Gently turning to look towards the left or looking to the ceiling. Once you're there, you decide whether your legs stay together, whether they separate, or whether you even straighten your top leg. And then you'll gently uncross your legs and roll all the way over onto your right side, preparing for either arm slide or propeller. So remember, if you're coming into arm slide, let your rib cage just gently drag your arm across your body like you're putting moisturizer on your skin. And you might even just come into the twist and hold or keep flowing. If you're going to propeller, make sure your bottom knee is bent up at a right angle. And then you turn your chest to the floor, reaching your top arm long. Taking your leg long without arching your back. And then let the rib cage roll open. The motor's in the center to bring the leg forward. So take the arm back. Enjoy your propeller. Being mindful you're not arching your back, so turn your chest towards the floor more. Move nice and slowly. And then when you feel balanced, when you feel ready, gently roll onto your back. And pause here. We're coming to Shavasana. You might like to pause for a moment with your legs long and just notice how you feel. And then find any props that you need for Shavasana. So you might even take yourself to your couch and put your legs up on your couch so you've got a right angle at your hips and your knees to release your lower back. Maybe a bolster underneath your knees. A blanket underneath you. I like watching you all get prepared. Take your time and make sure you're really comfortable. And if you have an eye pillow or something to go over your eyes, find that as well. And as you lay down on the floor this morning, start to notice, how do you feel? Learning to witness our body, our mind, our thoughts, our emotions is one of the really powerful gifts of yoga. I'm very thankful for these tools at this time. Because there's so many things to witness and to observe. So many joys I'm finding in this time, but also so many challenges. And so just notice, how do you feel as you come to the floor? If you're really honest with yourself. Are you tired? Are you lonely from this time of physical distancing? Be willing to acknowledge the pleasant and also the unpleasant emotions that we feel. And then as you notice that, start to notice how your physical body feels. And let's use Paramahansa Yogananda's double breath to take your awareness through the layers of your being, collecting any little bits of tension. So start with the physical body. Double breath in, tensing the whole body. Tense your jaw, your eyes, your buttocks, your arms, your hands, everywhere, your pelvic floor, your toes, your belly, and then let it go.
And do that twice more. Then take the double breath through the pranic body. Take the double breath through the thought body. Take it through the emotional body. And one more time through the causal body. Letting go of all the layers of your being. Feel the weight of the back of the body melting into the floor. Become aware of the plane of contact between you and the floor. The whole plane of contact. Bring your awareness to the plane of contact between your eyelids. Between your lips. Between the body and the floor. Eyelid. Lips. Body and the floor. Eyelids. Lips. Body and the floor. Witness the stillness of the physical body. Witness how alive your inner body is. And imagine from your heart space an emerald green light spreading into the whole of your chest and down your arms to your hands. Like concentric rings of water when a pebble is dropped in a lake. Imagine this healing green light spreading into your neck and your head, your abdomen, your back, your pelvis, your lower legs, your feet, the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Feel, sense and imagine your whole being cocooned within this healing light.
and allow yourself to rest and to rejuvenate.
And then very gently start to bring your awareness back to your body lying on the floor in the room. And notice as you stand beside yourself, witnessing, how do you feel? Without any judgment or expectation, witness. And then begin to deepen the in-breath and imagine that you draw that breath from the core of the earth. Bring it to your navel and let it spread into every single cell in your body. And then collect it back from every cell to your navel and send it deep into the earth like an anchor or a root. Keep breathing with this grounding breath. And begin to move in whatever way you need. And then you'll gently make your way onto your side and pause there, feeling the weight of the body grounding you. Becoming aware of the noises within the room, the noises outside of the room. Becoming aware of the weight of the body grounding you into the floor. And then make your way up into a seated pose. And if you're comfortable in Vajrasana, sitting on your buttocks to heels, come to Vajrasana. And let's come into Anjali Mudra straight away this morning. Consciously pressing the palms into one another. This gesture of balance where we bring the left and the right, the doing and the being, the yin and the yang to center. And really mindfully press the whole ring from the tips of your fingers to your wrists into one another. And then rest your thumbs on your lifted breastbone. Take a breath in and draw your breath up from the core of the earth. Bring it to your heart space. Hold it there as you engage Mula Bandha and Khichari Mudra. You can have your eyes soft or closed. And then release the bandha. And send your breath deeper and deeper into your spines. And do that again, breathing in. Mindfully pressing the palms equally into one another. Hold the breath at the heart space. Engage Mula Bandha, maybe Khichari Mudra, tip of tongue, roof of mouth. Then release the tongue and release the bandha. And send your breath deeper and deeper into your spines. One more time. And keeping the thumbs pressing into your lifted breastbone, into your heart space. Just bow your head as you bow the intellect of the mind to the wisdom of the heart. For it is with great respect and infinite love that we now conclude this practice. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's seal this practice with 3 Oms. Take a moment if you wish to dedicate this love. And then rub the palms together. Open your hands wide and begin. I honour that place in you where light, love and truth dwell. For when you rest in that place in you and I dwell in that place in me, we are one. Namaste.